and welcome to the latest episode of Beyond the Book. My name is Ashley.
And my name is Sarah, and we're children's librarians at the Midtown Carnegie Library. We created this series for families that maybe have aged out of story time, but are still looking for more ways to use the library. We're going to explore how a book can help you read, learn, and create together as a family.
The inspiration for this episode is a book called The Little Library by Margaret McNamara. The Little Library is about a young man named Jake that really loathes library day at school. He's not so interested in most of the books that he's found. He's kind of a slow and careful reader. And actually, sometimes he pays more attention to the construction of the bookshelf than the books that are displayed on it. But thankfully, Jake has a really great school librarian who notices Jake's interest in the bookshelf and offers him a book on woodworking. Jake takes it home, and guess what? He doesn't actually read it right away. He just kind of lets it sit around. And then when he does read it, he finds that the instructions are a little difficult to understand, and he has a lot of questions. But the more questions that he has, and the more that he begins to notice all the different things that are made of wood in his life, the more interested he is in getting more books about woodworking. And eventually, he's inspired to create something of his own with the help of his grandpa and his grandpa's shop. I'll let you check out the book to find out what they made together and what happens next.
Oh, that's so exciting. I love how the book just addresses that sometimes you just need a little bit of time with one book. One of the great things about going to the library is finding that book for that kid that maybe hasn't found an interest yet. There's so many topics, and like Jake, he just needed to find the right topic.
We know that you love making things, and at your favorite library branch, you might find one of our library takeout kits for teens or kids, something that you can take home and create a little craft together around the kitchen table. But what if you want to make something here? At the Midtown branch, in the Edge downstairs, we have a maker space, and it's really cool. Sarah's gonna go show us around.
So I wanted to show you what is actually in the makerspace. So what we've got here is we have a laser engraver, and this will engrave pieces of wood like this one to make a cool sign. You can make jewelry like earrings or even a keychain, which would be really great for maybe Christmas presents coming up. And we also have a vinyl cutter. This takes an ordinary piece of vinyl like this one and cuts it into shapes. So some people make letters or maybe stickers or decals, which is endless possibilities. And then on the other side of the room, we have our 3D printers. So we have the Ultimaker and we have the MakerBot Replicator. So I used the Ultimaker for my idea. So I just found my idea on Thingiverse and was able to put that on the flash drive and then get my idea going. And all you're gonna pay is for the filament itself. The Edge staff is here to answer any questions you have about any of the equipment or any of the process at all. Just remember that even a little object like this takes a couple hours, so you don't have to stay here the whole time. You can run errands or even come back the next day. This is such a great opportunity for your family to just take their creativity and make something cool. Just have fun and make something today.
That is so cute. I love the little book that you created. So it took a couple hours to print, and let me guess, how much did it cost? Like $5 or $10?
This actually only cost 30 cents because it's only by the gram, so yeah.
And I've noticed some other things that were made down in the Edge. This is done with the laser engraver? And what's that?
And this is also with the laser engraver. This is actually things that were cut out, so this is what was left behind, but it's still kind of cool.
Cool.
Also, they have a soldering iron, so some people use it for jewelry. Also, they have film transfer. So if your parents have slides laying around or maybe film negatives from when cameras were not digital, I know, mind-blowing, right? Or maybe they had something like this laying around, a VHS. If they had a camcorder, they made videos and movies with it, but you can't watch this digitally, so they can also do this down in the makerspace. Ask your parents about it, they'll have lots of stories.
That's terrific. I'm so glad that we have this resource in our library. Kids love making things. It gives them a sense of accomplishment and a feeling of independence. Who hasn't tried to make a mud pie in the backyard? But you might have guessed you would never give a kid a cookbook and imagine them to make, edible cookies if they've never held a measuring spoon or stirred cookie dough in the bowl. It's really important to let kids help when you're doing things like this. Making cookies, just making lunch, setting the dinner table, folding laundry, picking up sticks outside, any kind of chore that you can think of. That way they can practice and then be ready to dive in and make those cookies.
Yeah, and they're gonna make a mess and they're gonna do a horrible job probably.
Yeah, you might have some inedible cookies, but
it's all a part of the process, right?
yeah.
So one of the ways that you can start that process of learning is with a cookbook. So we have great options in our nonfiction section. This one's called The Silver Spoon for Children. And I love it because the instructions are really easy to just read. This one, for example, has 6 steps. And the steps are written out right here, and then they correspond with the picture over here. So even if you have a non-reader, they can follow along pretty easily. And at the end of it, you get something delicious to eat together as a family, hopefully.
We have terrific how-to books for everybody in the family. So when you're ready to start your next project, come to the library for some books to inspire you, or make a plan to use the Makerspace.
Make an appointment today, and thanks for joining us for our latest Beyond the Book.